Welcome back to Boring Reviews.
Boring Land.
Oh, just kidding.
Blasphemer.
Hello,
right.
Boring Review Nation.
Kind of pointless.
We know all things.
All right, welcome back to Boring Reviews. Nick here.
Chris.
And me and Chris are bringing another trailer reaction for you today. We are looking at a film's trailer. The film is called Sanju. Now, Chris, Sanju is based on a real actor. His name is Sanjay Dutt. And I actually just saw him in my first film that he was in called MBBS, where he plays this fake doctor. But Sanjay Dutt is not only a big-time actor in Bollywood, but he also has some other things going on in his life. According to Wikipedia, this movie delves into his addiction with drugs. He was arrested for the alleged association in the 1993 Bombay bombings, which was super tragic, and his relationship with his father, his comeback in the industry. All these different things are in this film. I just discovered this actor not too long ago, and lo and behold, he has a film about him, a biopic, and the lead character is played by a man named Ranbir Kapoor, who is he comes from a very popular acting family in India, and he's very popular himself. How do you feel about biopics yourself? Some people love them, some people hate them. Where are you at in that opinion?
It depends who it is. Obviously, I don't know. It just depends who it is. Some of them are pretty good. Like, this is going to be going way back into the Stone Age. I think, 2004. Ray, about Ray Charles, right? Yeah. That with I think it was Stevie Fox. Was that his name? Stevie Fox?
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx, not Stevie Fox. But anyways, I don't know actors' names. I'm horrible.
Stevie Fox must be his cousin. Who knows?
Stevie Fox, the less talented brother. But I like that movie. Ray was good. Johnny Cash walked the line going back to 2005. Where Joaquin Phoenix played that. I don't know. It depends on who it is. There was a Abraham Lincoln biopic that happened. It was okay. I wasn't it was just kind of.
How dare you?
Drawn out. It was long and drawn out.
So good.
However, Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
Player. No, that was a winner. Let me tell you.
Get out of here. Get out of here. No, I love Lincoln.
You need to watch it. Old Abe carrying around an axe, chopping down vampires. It's awesome. Watch it.
You're out of control. You're out of control. So my opinion with biopics is I actually really enjoy them because you get to learn something about that person's life that more than likely you probably know because you've gone to see the movie, and you also get some entertainment. Typically, the acting is always top-notch in any biopic because these actors, they really try to become that character. They try to pay homage and respect to that person in real life, even if they're not really the most likable person. And it's funny, I'm guilty of this too. Usually we'll see a performance and we'll say, man, he totally became Abraham Lincoln. He was Abraham Lincoln. He did such a great job. But we don't know Abraham Lincoln. We don't have any footage on how he was. But our perception of him, when we watch an actor like Daniel Day-Lewis, who is very, very revered in India and all around the world, when we see an actor like him put on a performance like that, we just say, I don't care what happened in real life. That's how Lincoln was. He did such a great job that we can believe it. Lincoln is a kind of movie I went into thinking it was going to be about the achievements of his life and the Civil War and all this kind of stuff. And even though it had to do with part of the Civil War, it was not a biopic of Abraham Lincoln, even though it was titled that. It was about him getting the 14th Amendment passed and freeing all Black people from slavery permanently. And so that movie is all about that. And so when I watched it the first time, I was kind of disappointed. But once I realized what the movie was about, I've watched it again probably 5 or 6 times. I crack up at certain parts. He tells the funniest stories at certain parts. And Daniel Day-Lewis does such a great job of playing that Grandpa Lincoln role where he's just sitting there telling a story. And his generals and whatnot, it's we don't have time for another story. We've got to make a decision on this attack. And they're telling stories again. It just cracks me up. I love that movie. Biopics are not always the most intriguing stories. They focus so much on the negativity of that person's life, drugs and all that kind of stuff, that we don't get a lot of the celebration of their life. So anyways, tangent over. let's check out this trailer. Let's see what it looks like. Just from the trailer thumbnail, we have Ranbir Kapoor in like 5 different versions of Sanjay. So that excites me. But we're going to start this trailer in 3, 2, 1. Nice. There he is.
गुड इवनिंग लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन। आज मेरे लिए बड़ा खुशी का दिन है क्योंकि मेरी ऑटोबायोग्राफी, मेरी आत्मकथा आप लोगों के सामने आ रही है। इतना वैरायटी वाला लाइफ आपको किधर मिलेगा? मैं बेवड़ा हूँ, ठरकी हूँ, ड्रग एडिक्ट हूँ, सब हूँ, लेकिन टेररिस्ट नहीं हूँ।
आपके पास AK-56 थी?
नहीं सर।
Jeez.
बताता हूँ सर, सब बताता हूँ। मैंने पहली बार ड्रग्स लिए क्योंकि मैं डैड से नाराज था, दूसरी बार क्योंकि माँ बीमार थी, तीसरी बार तक मैं ड्रग एडिक्ट बन चुका था।
अपनी बीवी के अलावा तुम और कितनी औरतों के
Jeez,
साथ
he got
सोए हो?
ripped.
प्रोस्टिट्यूट्स को गिनूं या उनको अलग? नहीं, उनको अलग रखता हूँ। 308 तक याद है। चलो आप सेफ्टी के लिए 350 लिख लो।
हमारे गांव में ना एक कहावत है, घी छे तो घपा गप छे।
ट्रांसलेट कर।
घी मतलब पैसा
और घपा गप
सेक्स।
अंडरवर्ल्ड से दोस्ती करेगा तो प्रेस वाले पीछे पड़ेंगे ही ना।
संजू, मंगलसूत्र कहाँ है? Where is my bloody मंगलसूत्र?
Oh, no. No.
मुझे कुछ नहीं पता था बम ब्लास्ट के बारे में।
कोर्ट में बोला कि मुझे सब पता था।
पूरा कंट्री टेररिस्ट बोलेगा।
वो तो अब भी बोल रहे हैं।
I'm not a terrorist.
That would be more than tough.
आपका बेटा बेल पे है, फिर भी अंडरवर्ल्ड के साथ बातें करता है। पिछली 12 फिल्में फ्लॉप है। इन शॉर्ट, फिनिश्ड।
मेरा बेटा कोई गुजरा हुआ वक्त नहीं है जो लौट कर वापस नहीं आ सकता।
Oh, what is that?
पानी आ रहा है।
That is
दादा प्लीज
Nasty.
टाइगर है तू, टाइगर। रोर। क्या नहीं है? रोर।
Wow. Vicky Kaushal. Wow. Anushka Sharma. Bowman Hirani. Wow.
अब किधर है तू? शॉट रेडी है?
अरे बहुत ट्रैफिक है यार। ए मोहम्मद चक्कर, कोई एक्सीडेंट हुआ है क्या? उसको हटा। अरे टैक्सी को हटाना।
बाबा मैंने लैंडलाइन पे फोन किया।
He says I called the landline. You can't be in traffic, you goofball. So that is a film directed by the guy that directed Munna Bhai MBBS. I was mentioning that Sanjay Dutt was in. All right, so what did I tell you? What did I tell you? 88 miles per hour. No, what did I tell you about great acting in biopics? I mean, that looked like fantastic acting, did it not?
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, what's not to like? The movie's it looks super intriguing. It's about this guy's rise and fall to stardom.
Yeah, I mean, man, Ranbir Kapoor, this guy, again, I've only seen him in one movie. I've seen him in a bunch of trailers. This guy is a tall, lengthy, skinny guy, and he looks like he transformed his body a few times just in this role, just in this movie. This movie's directed by the same guy that directed Munna Bhai MBBS and 3 Idiots and PK and so many other things that I've seen, that I've had the pleasure of seeing. But he looks like he really takes on that Sanjay role. I mean, and this guy, he dives into so many different aspects. This movie dives into so many different aspects of this guy's life, all the different drama he had to deal with.
That's a good point. Honestly, I mean, I didn't even think about that because there were a lot of different body types. There was one, he was totally ripped. Other one where, I mean, he was just kind of like your average guy. And then another one where you can tell he'd been starved, he'd been through the ringer, if you will. I didn't even think about that. So I would want to watch the movie just based off of that. I mean, how much did this guy give to this role? We are always impressed by people who transform their bodies once for a role, I mean, this is a horrible example, but kind of good at the same time. Like Jonah Hill is always a huge dude, right? And then all of a sudden he's lost a ton of weight for these movies. And, people are like, wow, but this is a guy that transformed himself not once, not twice, but thrice, which is 3. I mean, 3 times this guy changed it. I mean, I hope if it was me, I'd be like, okay, but I'm going to end on the muscly version because I'm not going to do all that working out just to be like, all right, jelly donuts, here we go. Whatever. I don't know.
I don't know. It seems like a lot of actors that put on serious muscle mass for a role, they're not able to hold on to it for too long because they're working out 7 days a week, twice a day just to get that muscle mass. You got to keep that kind of workout to keep that muscle mass. So who knows? I mean, this dives into him becoming a drug addict because of different things in his life, about the possible being a terrorist, which I hope is not true. I don't know that story. I'm not sure how that plays out. So it'll be interesting to find that out in this movie. When they showed him at his older stage, like in his early 50s, late 40s, that was the Sanjay I saw in Munna Bhai MBBS not too long ago. And I was like, man, he looks a lot like him. I mean, he still looks like Ranbir Kapoor, who has his own different look, but he looks a lot like him, which is super impressive as well. It's got some actors that you would expect Rajkumar, Hirani to have in his films, but it looks super interesting. I always say that, but this one does. This one is based on someone's life. And not just that, but the director who's directing this film has directed the actor before in 2 movies. So he respects him, he loves this guy and he wants to do it right. So that makes me even more intrigued that you would assume that they're going to tell a true and honest story. It's just crazy to me that they're going to tell this story. This guy's still alive. I wonder what he thinks about this movie.
That's always interesting. It's like Stephen King movies. They're a dime a dozen. People love making Stephen King movies throughout the ages. They love remaking them too. And, for example, The Shining, The Shining, huge success as far as people were concerned in the 80s, and still revered today as a great movie. Stephen King hates that movie. He hates the movie because, for his own reasons, but not to get too off point here, but I mean, it kind of doesn't matter of what the main guy thinks of the movie. It is a biopic, so it should matter to a point. But what matters is what do people think of it. Because that's honestly who they made it for. They didn't just make it for this guy. They made it for people to be like, hey, here's a story to tell, and some of you guys like, or maybe you don't like. Maybe we just want to tell a controversial story and go from there. So, I mean, I would think it doesn't matter what he thinks, but we'll see.
I don't know. See, I understand. I completely understand that viewpoint. I think a lot of people would agree with that. But again, this director has like that invested interest where he knows this guy. He's worked with this guy before. And I would assume he has a positive opinion of this guy where even though he's not making it for him, he wants to make sure that this guy puts his endorsement on it, I would say at least. But anyways, let us know what you think about it. This movie is relatively fresh. It's just a few years old. Let us know. If this should go to the top of our list is something that we should check out. This was, I forgot to say, a request by Varun and many others, but Varun requests this officially. So thank you so much, Varun, for requesting this. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this reaction. And if you want to see more from us here at Born Reviews. And until next time.
Take care.